100%.
Yeah.
He was a socialite, and I loved him for it. And when he got serious, you're like, oh, damn. Flash is serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, then this must be serious. This boy's not joking around.
Like, stuff's going to go down.
Yeah, well, that's why I don't like when people try to write Barry like he's Wally.
Right, and you can
Snyder's
feel
Justice
it.
League.
Yeah.
He's the funny guy.
Yeah. It didn't work out that way.
Sure, guys?
So speaking of other Speedster, what are your opinions about his Marvel counterpart Quicksilver?
He's not fast enough.
I mean, what can we say? He's quick, but he's not fast.
Yeah. I also think like it was just the way that he was also marketed, because not that marketing really existed that much in those days, but as you said, Anthony, how like it was Flash and then 20 years later?
Yeah, it was Flash first in 1940. Jay Garrick we're talking here, and then about 20 to 25 years, I forget, it was the Quicksilver coming out.
And I don't know, I just didn't take to it. I mean, I love my Speedsters, but I did try, some Quicksilver stuff. It just didn't catch me, and I don't know why that is. Maybe because to me he's less of an iconic, hero.
They try with him. His speed got amped up every now and then over the course of his stories. He'd be as fast as speed of sound at first, and then he'd reach Mach 5, then he'd reach Mach 10. I think Mach 10 is the fastest he can go now. But yeah, that's still nowhere near.
I guess it's, if you write him right, he'll be interesting.
Yeah.
If you rely solely on speed, then people really can be like, oh, but Flash is faster.
I know. Well, he is Magneto's son too.
Yeah,
right?
that's an interesting.
So that's like a completely different turn from the dead parents. That's on the DC side of things, right?
You wish they were dead.
Yeah.
Oh wait, hold on. What about his mom?
Oh, well, maybe just his dad.
Yeah,
okay.
his dad.
Yeah, maybe just his dad. And I also wanted to ask you guys about the future of Flash too, because and I'm talking about first the comics and also the DC movies like Justice League. We were disappointed with the whole Ezra situation there and how he's this meek, introverted Flash kind of thing.
Flopping around, don't know what he's doing.
Flopping around, hey?
He was flopping around.
Really fast though.
Really fast flopping.
Yeah.
I did like that scene with him and Superman where he's just like, holy crap, this guy's keeping up with me.
Oh,
but
right.
Then I really wanted a badass super speed fight.
I know. But what do you want? If the case is that it was up to you to kind of better the world of Flash for moving forward the Warner Brothers movies, what would you want in that?
An Interstellar type thing, personally.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah, Flash in space. No, I was kidding.
Well, not necessarily in space, but just taking these high sci-fi concepts and speeding it up a lot. After the Multiversity was finished, Grant Morrison said that Dan DiDio wanted him to do a sequel called Multiversity 2.
What did Didio say? What did Didio say?
Oh yeah, Didio says I want you. Yes, do that, but spell 2 TOO. Why? It's just because it's better. And so his idea.
Didio.
Didio, that's good.
And so Grant's idea was just an alternate universe story about Flash, just a regular guy who's can't help but get faster and faster. And what does a story like that look like?
Oh wow!
Where
right.
suddenly you're just everyone seems like they stay still as statues.
Yeah.
What does your life look like that?
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I want to see stuff like that.
Yeah.
They touched upon that in the animated series.
Did it?
Yeah. I forgot what the villain's name was, but Flash was faced with his greatest fear.
Right.
And his greatest fear was everyone just being still, and he can't slow down. And so he's alone, basically.
Right.
And that was an interesting fear, first of all, it was Wally in the Justice League animated series.
And he's such a lighthearted guy, too, right?
He's a lighthearted guy.
But would you guys want that to be a standalone first, or did you guys want to integrate that kind of Flash to the Justice League 2 if that ever happens?
I just want a fair representation of the Flash.
Right.
I want comic to screen. I just want the personality and the power set. The most frustrating thing for a Flash fan is seeing Flash get punched in the face by a normal robber. And we get that in season 1. We get that throughout.
Yeah, I getcha.
So if we get the legitimate full-powered Speedster on screen with a great story, I'm all for it.
Right. Now, for the questions that I was going to ask you guys, do you think there's anything like a full-powered Speedster can't actually beat? The Speed Force is one hell of a drug, it's powerful as AF,
Can't beat.
basically, if it comes to an actual person,
Yeah.
he can beat you. You're a person, you're an individual, you have limits, he can beat you.
I've tested it in Injustice 1 and 2, and I can tell you, yes, it works.
There you go.
For sure. Yeah, I agree.
The one thing he can't beat, I'm thinking of like, if there's like a massive meteor heading to Earth. I'm talking like the size of the Earth. No, 3 times the size of the Earth, and there's like no Superman around.
Yeah.
Like, he'd have to like go back in time when the Earth wasn't in trouble anymore.
Right. And rewind time again.
I think what he could do is do an infinite mass punch to the meteor, maybe, right before impact.
That's hard.
But
I think
he's going to be so
I can
hungry
imagine how
after
you can do that. Okay, go back in time to before the meteor is heading there. Find out where that meteor is at that time and just redirect it. Just go, just fly to it. I don't know. Get your old pal Hal to fly you to this rock. It's like
get your space friends to help you out.
See, we have to do it without space friends, though. It's got to be him alone.
Just him.
Okay,
just
so,
him.
So if he speed forces fast enough, he doesn't need to breathe.
We're gonna be here until 12 midnight.
I was thinking things like that, like. So he can't fly. That's obvious, but he can spin his arms around fast enough to create a windmill and like propel himself in the air.
Well, what do you guys think about the issue of like if Earth actually froze? I mean,
can he stop the Earth from freezing?
Can he?
He can totally run around and thaw the place out.
Yeah.
Like,
all right.
he can circle the planet 100 times before a second.
I'll see it when I believe it, guys.
Oh wait, hold on. I know how he can beat the meteor.
The meteor?
What?
Okay, so the universe is just like millions of years old, right?
Okay.
He goes back in time enough such that the Earth is and fixes his position not relative to the Earth, but relative to the center of the universe, and tries to find a point in time in which that meteor is in his exact coordinates.
Gosh,
that's how he boards the meteor.
This is the engineer in him talking. I swear, guys.
And then destroy the meteor at that point in time, and then come back forward in time and. It doesn't exist anymore.
As ridiculous as this sounds, I thought about this, and you can't do that because the Earth had a finite position in time, and the meteor had a finite position in time. It would have to be like so close to the Big Bang, where they're at least, like the origin of the universe, close. But then he can't run on whatever it is at that point because the Big Bang was like super small.
Okay, so chain reaction it.
He'd have to chain reaction it.
Yeah. So go back in time to find a meteor that can hit that meteor one day.
Yes. He can pick it up, toss it out, and easily hit the atmosphere and escape velocity, and then...
And the other thing that I wanted to ask about you guys, now, obviously, a speedster is a speedster. But if Barry, Wally, or Jay didn't become the Flash, would he be good at any other superhero-y things? Like, would they be able to take the mantle of, let's say, Batman, or... Green Lantern, or
let's start with
Swamp
Barry,
Thing.
I guess.
No, that would be odd. John Constantine.
Okay, not a John. He's too good-hearted to be a John. John's whole thing is just being an asshole.
Maybe not being John, but having John's power set.
John's power set is being petty. Being an asshole and being a petty dabbler at magic.
I feel like John's superpower comes from his bad lungs. Like it's just. Always smoking, that guy.
Badass accent.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Batman? Do you think?
I don't think he could do the Batman thing.
No.
What do you think?
Yeah, being Batman means being like ultra dedicated. Barry knows how to stop to spend time with family.
He's got too much balance, and even though he's an investigator now,
he's
not. There's some level of brutality that Batman's got to have because his whole thing is instilling fear.
Right. Well, it's just because like they had dead parents, and I'm like thinking, hey, does that kind of cross over? Maybe not, right?
Maybe not.
Elongated man.
Actually, I can see that.
Yeah, because he can do forensics.
Right.
Okay.
But I mean, that's not really hero-ish.
No.
In a superhero sense.
The Atom.
Oh my God!
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
100%.
So if he wants to like inspect the crime scene, he's just going to shrink down.
Oh my God! Crossover! I've just thought of it.
Yes.
So, Ant-Man and Wasp.
Yes.
Barry becomes the Wasp of the DC universe, and Ray Palmer is going to be the Ant-Man.
Like the Ant-Man.
And then
of
they
the
make
DC
out.
Universe. Yes, I'm down.
At a molecular
Guys,
level.
happy Pride.
Yeah.
That was a good one, man. Like the Atom's a good power set, and it matches his persona.
Yeah. And what about what was the thing that we were talking about before? The Blackest Night, which was one of my favorite runs. I think he would be a good Lantern.
I think so too.
Yeah.
He wouldn't need it necessarily for like investigating, but he can use it just to help people.
But just imagine, he can go to space.
He can finally stop that meteorite.
Yeah, exactly. He would need no man. He would need no man to help him.
That's the perfect thing.
Oh my god,
so
I
if
love
there's
it.
no, never mind. This goes off the shrinking thing. If there's a reverse Flash, what's a reverse Atom look like? This guy who just can't
reverse
help
Atom?
but getting big.
I don't know. Ask Thanos. Oh, too soon. Too soon, guys. Too
That was
soon.
good, though. That was good.
Thanos.
I think reverse Atom just gets bigger.
Yeah.
I like Flash as a Green Lantern or as a Blue Lantern.
It matches him as a Blue Lantern.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he's
That
helpful
peace
as
and
hell.
tranquility, and
Yeah.
yes, I think so too.
Yeah.
Same thing with Wally.
Oh, avarice. No, I'm joking. No, no. I think Wally would be good. To me, he's kind of a cross of like almost like a Kyle more than a Hal if he was to be a Green Lantern, I think. And the one thing that I did want to touch up before we leave is, Anthony, we were talking about Speed Force and how super complicated it is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
So if you're new to the Flash and you've heard the Speed Force being thrown around, that's just what generates the energy that speedsters need to run fast. But it's not just energy, guys. It is also a dimension.
Right.
It is like a...
This is confusing.
The
Confusing
speedster's
parts.
Valhalla. That's
Yes.
where they go when they die, because they don't actually die. They just stay in there. Fun fact, or flash fact,
Ooh,
when Barry died in that Crisis on Multiple Earths we talked about earlier, he was in the Speed Force the whole time.
that's right.
And Death was literally chasing him. And that's how he stayed alive. He was outrunning Death the whole time.
That's the saddest thing ever, and the most terrifying, like, death personified is just chasing you for years and years. I do not want to be the Flash if I had the choice, man.
It's an interesting concept for me, because I'm thinking if Death is busy this whole time running you down, what about everyone else
So
on
he's
Earth?
not Thanos.
You know, he is Death can.
He can multitask.
Maybe if he didn't have to multitask, you know,
Yes.
go like, wait, hold on, I got to get your grandmother.
He has death affiliates.
All right, I'm coming back after you.
There's actually a death family, too.
Oh, yeah, I knew it.
Well, like, you know, there are many incarnations of Death into DCU, like from the
Sure.
Sandman and Death Flash and the Black Racer
The Baba Yaga.
and the Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga. Oh, God. But yeah, no, the Speed Force is everything. It's the afterlife, it's the energy, it's the dimension, it's the explanation for what protects him when he's running.
That's right.
It has even been called the engine that keeps time moving. Mm-hmm. It's the reason why there is time.
Can you see the Speed Force, do you think?
You can.
Can, like, a human actually go into the Speed Force? Like, there was this one time, oh my gosh, I think it was Blackest Night, but Flash had to take Batman somewhere. And the thing was that he had to carry Batman. Do you remember that panel?
Yeah, I remember that.
And then he was
Yeah.
like, is there another way to do this? He's like, no, because you would vomit and your legs would fall off.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he
Oh,
was
the
like,
button?
carry on.
It's just really funny. But I think, okay, to answer your question first,
Yeah.
can humans be in the Speed Force?
Yeah.
Yes. It happened in Volume 1 of the Rebirth Flash, 2017.
Yeah.
And Iris and a bunch of other strangers were brought into the Speed Force by accident.
Right.
And
That is terrifying,
they aren't
man.
speedsters. They're just being, like, interacting with the stuff. They're like, where are we right now? We just...
So it almost kind of looks like a mirage-y kind of place.
It's a mirage
right?
kind of place. It's not a desert quite. It's just energy all around you.
Yeah.
It's weird. And then the side effect of them being there is when they came back out of the Speed Force, they had temporary powers.
Right.
And then
right.
that was a cool storyline.
Oh, is that when
sounds
that...
like the New 52 run
It is.
from 2011.
Oh, 2011.
Yeah.
Sorry, New 52, not Rebirth. My
Oh,
bad.
there you go.
But
Now-
Sorry to correct you on
Talking
that.
about,
No, I
you know,
appreciate
like,
it.
you know, these issues and talking about all these runs, if I could entice you guys to read anything Flash, please pick up Crisis on Multiple Earths, because it was great. And also Flashpoint, and we have talked about it before as well, The Button, right? That was
Yeah,
great, too.
The
There's
Button.
lots of great panels in that one.
Jeff Johns' Flash Rebirth is a really good, like, reintroduction
Right.
of Barry and everything about, like, the Flashes around him.
Yes.
I thought that was a pretty good one.
He likes to use Flash's powers in different ways. Mm-hmm. I don't want to spoil
How
too much.
refreshing, actually.
It's very refreshing.
Yeah.
Like, you're thinking, like, could Flash do this? And he shows you. He can do things like vibrate an entire plane through a bridge as it's collapsing.
Make a casserole.
And
Everything.
Make a casserole. Yes.
Really fast.
Think a lot.
He can think a lot.
Aw, thinker, he got you now. He can think faster than you. Well, anyway, guys, that is our Flash episode. Is there anything else to add, guys?
I love the Flash.
Lenny, you love
I love the
Flash, kind of?
Yes, of course.
Yes? All right.
Of course. You can't not love the guy.
And hey, guys, by the way, fun fact for those of you who have not watched Smallville yet, he's also in Smallville.
Yes, he is.
And Justice League, there's a little bit of connection there, which I thought was really cool when I found out. His voice in Justice League is Lex Luthor, Michael Rosenbaum, from the Smallville series. I know. Anyway, that's our Flash episode, guy. This is Joey from Comics Inc.
This is Anthony.